I just finished my work week and realized that we are almost halfway into May and I haven't filmed my May check-in yet. So I figured I would sit down and do a short little check-in about how May of my no-buy year is going. I also did not have time to clean my room, so I have strategically placed plants behind me to disguise the worst of the clutter. If you notice something, be a good person. Don't call me out about it in the comments. Thank you. Pause. Have I been saying the May check-in this entire time? I mean the April check-in. The April check-in for my no-buy year. God, I'm like so discombobulated and out of it. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get it. I don't think there's a lot to cover in the month of May that I kind of like haven't already covered in other videos. So a couple weeks ago, I put up a video that was basically me anti-hauling a bunch of things I wanted to buy. And in that video, I kind of talked about how at the very start of April, which is when the Sephora VIB sale was going on, I got really sick. Like not Rona sick, but still like bedridden sick. It was pretty bad. And in that video, I kind of talked about like how I would spend my days like mindlessly scrolling through beauty YouTube videos. Everybody was uploading their Sephora wish lists and their Sephora hauls, which then turned into me mindlessly scrolling through the Sephora app and like adding a bunch of things to my cart because I love playing with fire, clearly. And that entire video, although it is an anti-haul, it also talks about all of the different ways in which I talked myself out of buying makeup throughout the month of April. And I don't want to like rehash everything I said. Can you guys hear that siren? I'm filming with my windows open because it's hot here and I like want the breeze to come through and freshen my room up, and the unfortunate side effect is there's just hella sirens in Baltimore City. So just gonna have to wait it out, I guess. I don't really want to rehash everything that I said in that video, so if you somehow missed that video and you want a sense of like how I felt throughout the month of April in terms of buying makeup and skincare and how it is I managed to like talk myself out of buying anything during the Sephora VIB sale or even on like the M Cosmetics website, I'm gonna link that video up in the cards for you to check out. With regards to kind of like other life updates and things that I did throughout the month of April, I think a big thing is I filed American taxes for the very first time in my life, all by myself. And that was like, it felt like a huge victory with regards to adulting. But honestly, it felt like the only victory with regards to adulting, because like as of right now, my Canadian taxes are still like, there are a couple like issues that we're trying to iron out as I file them. And then like on top of that, fellow Canadians, let me know if this happened to you. I got like a weird email from the Canadian government, and it was like a legit email, it was not a scam, saying that 2 years ago, in like April of 2020, the government of Canada gave me like a $2,000 CERB payment that apparently I was not supposed to have received. I actually think a lot of Canadians have been pronouncing it CERB, but for me, I've always just said CERB. Basically, it's like the Canadian version of the stimulus package for COVID. And the Canadian government made an error on their part, and they gave me like $2,000 extra, and now 2 years after the fact, they want it back. And I'm just kind of like, this seems like a you problem. You know, why is it my fault that y'all did the math wrong? Like, why is it my fault that y'all gave me a $2,000 CERB payment when I like never applied for CERB? When the lockdown first happened and I like lost my job, what I applied for was EI, which is basically the Canadian version of unemployment. And it's like literally on you that you paid me CERB instead of EI, and that you overpaid me, and that you like randomly gave me $2,000. Right? And it would be one thing if they had like caught their mistake in 2020 itself, or even in like 2021 when I filed my 2020 taxes. But like, why are they doing this in May of 2022? That $2,000 is long gone. And here's the thing, is like, as annoyed as I am that I now have to pay the government $2,000 for no goddamn reason for an error that they made and did not resolve for 2 freaking years, I at least know that I can like scrape together $2,000. I make a little bit more than $2,000 a month. That's why I've been able to pay $2,000 of my student loans every single month. And so I'm like, yeah, I can scrape together $2,000. It's not a problem. But like people who are worse off than me financially, who like don't have a safety net, who are like going through it right now, like where are they supposed to get $2,000 from? Like this is so ridiculous, you know? Like I'm very annoyed at the fact that like this is what the government is choosing to do right now. Like you should have caught this mistake at the bare minimum when we filed our taxes for 2020. Like, what the fuck were you doing for all of last year? But anyway, like, I can't even be too mad at the Canadian government because, like, dude, at least abortion is free and legal in Canada, right? I didn't realize this. I thought this was, like, the norm in a lot more countries, but turns out that Canada is, like, the only country in the world where abortion is decriminalized at any and every point during the pregnancy. And while in practice, like, most hospitals and stuff won't perform a third trimester abortion unless you have a medical reason for it, if you do go to a clinic that performs an abortion when you're, like, 7.5 months pregnant, that's totally legal. It is like not a crime. You cannot be criminally prosecuted for it. Hi, Editing Prachi here. I just wanted to chime in to say that third trimester abortions are incredibly rare. In fact, even second trimester abortions are very, very rare in Canada. Statistics show that 90% of all abortions in Canada happen in the first trimester. So that's the first 12 weeks or 3 months of pregnancy. Part of that is that healthcare is free, so people are much more likely to like go get checked if they're pregnant or not and catch a pregnancy earlier and have enough time to make a decision about it. On top of that, there aren't really very many barriers to abortion, which is to say that like it's considered a built-in part of our healthcare system, which means that like all other medical procedures, it's completely free. And it's also widely available. And so people who've made that decision for themselves are then able to act on that decision without like a million different obstacles. Lastly, I just want to say that despite the fact that abortion is decriminalized and legal at all stages of the pregnancy, Canada actually has a very, very low rate. It's not like people are getting them left, right, and center, and that's down to like a couple different factors, like, once again, free healthcare means that it's not costly for you to go to a doctor to get a prescription for birth control, and then there's also some like structural things the government has done, like it negotiates to keep the prices of certain medications low, right? That is why, for example, insulin is much cheaper in Canada than it is in the United States. So, you know, even if you don't have insurance, paying for birth control out of pocket won't bankrupt you. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this little fun fact PSA section. Back to the rest of the video. And I don't know, maybe I was being naive and dumb, but I didn't think Canada was exceptional in that regard, you know, like I thought there would be a lot more countries that had completely decriminalized abortion, and that clearly hasn't happened. Because the fact is, like, even if you yourself would never get an abortion because it doesn't like morally sit right with you, I think it is like morally wrong on some level to tell people, like adults especially, what they are and are not allowed to do with their bodies. That is like a moral line in the sand that I draw. Like bodily autonomy is like a thing I think about a lot. Not to get political for a moment, but like there are a lot of like terfs out there who hate the idea of trans women being included in feminist movements because they somehow seem to think that like, oh, trans women don't care about like reproductive rights, blah, 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 whatever. And it's like, actually no, because at the end of the day, like a common through line through both trans rights and abortion rights is this concept of bodily autonomy. This concept that like, if I want to do something to my body, like I should be legally allowed to do that. Whether that means I take hormones or get a surgery or get an abortion, like what happens in my body should be my choice. It is such an intuitive and instinctive overlap of these two movements that it boggles the fucking mind that there are feminists out there who are transphobic. Like literally, like the math doesn't math for me for that. But anyway, like we are not here to talk about politics, I guess. Although, I mean, I guess this is as good a time as any to say that like that is a thing that has been like heavy on my brain for the last couple of weeks. You know, like those of you who've been following my channel for a while, you know that for a couple of years there, I really, really thought I wanted to be a lawyer. That is not at all what I'm interested in being now. That's not even what my current job is in. Like I made a very conscious decision to switch career paths from law to public health. But my general interest in the law meant that when that leaked opinion came out, like I immediately sat down and I read all 90 odd pages. It was just like, it was one of those documents that like, the more I read it, the more upset I got. And it has been living rent free in my brain ever since. And in one sense, I guess that's good because it means like I haven't really had the time or the energy to think about like makeup and skincare anymore, because I'm just like so fucking riled up about this. I haven't really thought about buying anything recently, to be honest, because a thing that I did do in April, and it took me like weeks and weeks to film and weeks to edit, so like the video only came out like a couple days ago on my channel, is I sat down and I took an inventory of all of the books that I own. If you haven't watched that video but you would like to see all of the like beautiful books that are on my rainbow shelf, I'm gonna link that video up in the cards. I didn't really talk about any numbers in that video. I just kind of like went through the books, but after the fact I like sat down and I counted everything, and full disclosure, I did this count at like 3 in the morning, so I might be like off by like 1 or 2 books. But basically, I own something like 176 books, and then I have one that I've borrowed, so it's like in my house right now, there are 177 books that I'm responsible for. Out of those 177 books on my shelves, I've only read like 50 of them. So for reference, that is only 28%. I have only read 28% of the books that I own. On top of that, if you keep in mind that last year I had what I consider to be a really, really good reading year, because I read 52 books in 52 weeks. Right? Assuming that I'm capable of reading 52 books every single year, and I don't check out any books from the library, and I don't read any of the ebooks I own, I only stick to reading the physical books that I own, it would still take me over 3 years to get through my entire library of unread books. When I did that math, when I realized that I had over 3.5 years of unread books on my bookshelves, it really sunk in for me why I need to be on a no buy. It convinced me that even if I find like $1 million on the ground tomorrow and I become a very, very rich lady, I still should be on a no buy year for my books. Like, there is no earthly reason for me to be buying more books right now. So it was just like, it was a huge wake up call. I was like, I need to stop buying books. As a matter of fact, I need to like chill out with how much I use my library, and I need to actually start like reading the books that I own. And like, the thing is, I was supposed to do this book inventory in like January, and I just like, I didn't have the time because it was like such a time consuming video to film and edit, and I knew that in advance. So I procrastinated it all the way up until April. And for that same reason, I've also been procrastinating filming my makeup collection video, because I just know that to like undo and sort through my entire makeup collection and then film each individual thing in it one by one, like, it is going to be such a long video to film, such a long video to edit. And what filming the book inventory has done is it's kind of like lit a fire under my ass to also film my makeup inventory. Because I think that one thing that books and makeup actually have in common is the way in which storing them is really, really deceptive. Like, if you actually looked at my bookshelves and how organized and neat and compact and everything they are, I don't think you would be able to guess that I owned 177 books, right? Like, it doesn't look like an obscene amount of books when they're all stored away on the shelves. In the same way that makeup, when it's all like packed away in its little like shelves and storage containers, it doesn't really look like a crazy amount of makeup. It isn't until you start taking things out of their storage things that you realize, like, fuck, why do I own like 100 lipsticks or like whatever other obscene number? And the fact is, like, I don't know what those numbers are for me, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it's like a really, really high amount. And part of the reason why I think that is because I literally think the last time I panned a piece of makeup was like in 2019 or 2020. It was literally years ago. I don't know if you guys can see like all the way in the back because this, like, I moved this plant here, but I was holding on to a bunch of stuff to film an empties video with. In fact, that's probably going to be one of like the next couple of videos that goes up on my channel, because I pulled out all of the like empties that I was holding on to and I've put them on my shelf so I can like film that video and talk about it. But there is not a single makeup empty in there. Like, I can't think of the last time I emptied a piece of makeup that like wasn't a mascara or a liquid eyeliner. And like, I can't remember the last time I saw a speck of pan in a blush. I can't remember the last time I like used a lipstick all the way down to the nub. And initially I was going to say that like, I don't know how I feel about that. But actually, like, if I really sit with myself and I sit with that feeling, I realize like, I don't like that. You know? Anyway, that is just like a really long-winded way of me saying like, maybe I realized I own a little bit too much stuff, and it's kind of like reaffirmed that I need to be on this no buy, and that actually, like, even when I finish paying off my student loans, I probably still need to be on this no buy, or at the very least on like a pretty intense low buy, because I just like, I own so much stuff. And even the stuff that I really like and love and enjoy, I'm not going to be able to use up before it goes bad. So I'm definitely going to sit down and I think film my makeup inventory at some point. I guess some feedback that I want from you guys is, would you want me to film like a genuine inventory, which is to say like a counting exercise? Do you want it to be kind of like, you know, my book collection where it was like I showed you every single book I own, its cover, I gave you the title, and I gave you the author, right? Like, do you want me to do that inventory style video for makeup, which is like, here's all of the makeup I own, here is the brand, here's the name of the color, and of course I'll sort it into categories, so like here's every single foundation I own, every single blush, every single whatever. Do you want that? Or would you prefer kind of like shorter videos, like I do one video where it's like just all of my lip products, just all of my blushes, just all of my like base stuff. The downside of having multiple videos by category is I feel like for like a month and a half straight, the only videos that are makeup related that you would be seeing from me, aside from like my check-ins, would be like collection videos. That's why I'm kind of like, maybe I just do one inventory, everything's combined, and it's like a counting exercise. I'm letting you know I own like 58 lipsticks or whatever other outrageous number. So if you have a strong preference one way or the other, or if you have in fact a different or better idea of how I should go about this, please let me know, leave it down in the comments below. I just realized I am like rapidly losing daylight, like it's getting hella dark out there. So let's move on now to like the debt portion of this video and then wrap this baby up. Ooh, my face just lit up because my laptop's like right in front of me. But in terms of debt repayment, April was actually like a really, really basic month. So my starting amount of debt on April 1st was $28,010.12. And in April, I made 2 payments. So one was like the automatic loan payment that goes out every month. That's $281.91. And then on top of that, I paid an additional $1,718.09. So that total overall in the month of April, I paid $2,000 flat towards my student loan. So at the end of April, on April 30th, my loan amount was $26,010.12. Now, technically, this is only the April check-in, so I shouldn't be telling you guys this, and I should be telling you guys this in like the May check-in or whatever the hell. But given that it's already May 13th, I figure I should tell you guys now that on May 10th, so just a couple of days ago, I paid an additional $2,000 to my student loan. My actual loan amount has gone down to $24,010.12. So far this year in 2020, I have paid $9,261.28. I was able to make that $2,000 payment at the start of May because I basically took my entire tax refund and applied it to my loan. So my original game plan for the month of May was to actually make $4,000 in student loan payments. But now, unfortunately, because I have to pay the Canadian government back for CERB that I did not even apply for and which was mistakenly given to me due to some weird accounting error, I don't know that I'll actually be able to pay $4,000 in the month of May. So that's really, really annoying. Hate that for me. I'm very pissed off at the Canadian government right now, but I will give you a further update at the end of May. And I'm sitting in the dark now. The only light in this room is coming from my laptop screen, and it's also getting rowdy on the street outside. I don't know if you can hear those people's voices. So I will wrap it up here. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing upcoming week. And even if the rest of your week is messy and imperfect, I hope that you're still able to create and experience some truly beautiful moments. Thanks for watching. Bye.